All right, the next guest is Gerry Langeler. Gerry, come tell your story. His is different.
I don't know, can you hear me pretty well this way?
Yes.
I don't know if my story is all that good because Ageless Dreamer is supposed to make your dreams come true. I had a dream and they did not make it come true. So what am I doing here? I'll tell you this, they tried their best, but something happened and they couldn't make it come true. And so I'm kind of, I don't know exactly who I am. It reminds me of those two snakes that were sunning themselves on a rock. And one snake said, "Are we poisonous?" And the other snake said, "I don't know, but why do you ask?" And the first snake said, "I just bit my tongue." I'll try not to bite my tongue, and I'll tell you what happened. First, I have to give you a little background. I am an author. I wrote a book for autistic children, and this book helps autistic children understand emotions. Okay, you have to know that. The second thing is, a governor of Alaska named Sarah Palin went to New York City to an organization called Autism Speaks, and she raised money for autistic children. Okay, that's the second thing you have to know. The third thing is, I have an agent who helps sell my books, and she had a table at the American Legion trade show, and nearby was a table for Ageless Dreamers. And I was hungry, and I thought I'd get up and go to lunch, and I saw this sign, Ageless Dreamer, and I thought, well, what's that? But I was hungry. I picked up their business card and went and got myself a sandwich. 2 months later, I was looking through some papers, and I saw this business card. So I thought, I'll call them up and see what Ageless Dreamer's all about. So I got this very nice young lady on the phone, very attractive voice, and I said, "What do you do?" And she said, "Well, we try to make dreams come true." She said, "But you have to be over 70 years of age." I said, "Well, I'm 93, so I qualify." So we talked some more, and she said a few nice things, and I think she may have said, "You have a dream." If she did, I don't know, but when I hung up, I thought, well, I don't have a dream, but I'll make one up. It sounded so inviting. So I sat down at my typewriter, and I wrote, "I have a dream. My dream is I would like to give 100 of my books at no charge, hand deliver them to Governor Palin in Alaska, and I can afford to give the 100 books, but I can't afford the airfare." So immediately, Ageless Dreamer went to work. They contacted Senator Judd Gregg, I believe, and they began to make plans to see if my dream couldn't come true. Of course, you know what happened. All of a sudden, Sarah Palin resigned. She was no longer the governor of Alaska, so I could no longer give my books to the governor of Alaska. Now, there was more to the story. I have a grandson who had served 3 tours in Iraq. He was in the military, and he was now stationed in Alaska. I hadn't seen him in 10 years, and I hoped if my dream came true, I could get to see my grandson and his wife, who hoped to start a family now that he was stationed there. But of course, nothing happened because Sarah Palin is no longer the governor. But to make the end of the story, I did send her 1 book, and I had heard that she had a child who had Down syndrome or something, and my book would help such a child when the child was a little bit older. So that was the end of the story. Well, because Ageless Dreamer couldn't finish my dream, Laurie called me up and said, look, we did our best, and we just want you to know we tried all the channels to get you to Alaska, and now that the governor has resigned, really, we can't make that dream come true. So we had a nice talk on the phone, and I told her a little bit about myself, and she said, well, I'd like to meet you. So she invited me over to supper, and that's how I got to know Laurie, and today I met the very nice young lady who spoke to me on the phone. Now the point of all this is, and I'm so glad to be surrounded by senior companions, because I'm one of you, you have an opportunity when you are with other older people to ask that simple question, is there something you'd like to do before you leave this world? Now, I was unique in that I submitted a dream myself, but most of the time, the dreams are from a child of an older person who says, Mom or Dad, is there anything we could do for you, would you like to do? And there's where the dreams start. Now, I know you all do wonderful work as a companion, but nobody, and most of the nice things happen in talking about what you do. But one of the great things you can talk about is if by some chance you helped somebody have their dream come true. That really makes conversation. Then the children and the whole family hear what you did, and you even have more fun talking to each other about how you helped a dream come true. And the interesting thing is, these dreams are so unusual, as you heard Laurie tell you a few of them, that you really can expect a surprise. And surprises at that age are really the nicest things that can happen to you. And I'd love to tell, I only know 4 stories, and I have to go to a different place, otherwise I'd be telling them over again. But since I have one more story, which is a surprise, if you don't mind, I'll tell you the story. It's about a New England church, one of those cold places, and an older person, a lady, went to a pet store to get a puppy, and the man said, I think you'd be better off with a parrot. And so he sold her a parrot, and she took the parrot to church the next Sunday on her shoulder. And halfway through the sermon, the parrot cleared his throat and said, it's damn cold in here. But she was so upset, she got up and walked out and stood on the front of the church to apologize to the minister. And when he came out and she apologized for the interruption to his sermon, and she said, but I have bad news for you. I'm very fond of this parrot, and I don't want to come to church anymore because I don't want to not have that parrot on my shoulder. And the minister said, that's not a problem. He said, if you hear that parrot clear the throat, just put your hand up and grab it by the legs and swing it around your head and put it down again. Well, the next Sunday she came to church with the parrot on her shoulder, and all of a sudden the parrot cleared its throat. She grabbed that parrot, swung it around her head, put it back on her shoulder, and the parrot said, and it's damn windy too.
So, there's a few things to share with you about Gerry that you didn't know. And I didn't know. I only met Gerry 4 weeks ago. I met Gerry 4 weeks ago as he told that story. And from that, I learned this man is tucked away in a place, an independent living place, that's well respected, but he was lonely. And he shared his dream. And he's the founder of the largest advertising agency in New England, which he sold, I don't know how many years ago?
30 years.
30 years ago. It's still there. The new owner continues to call him, and it's in Connecticut. But the point is, if I never asked, I would have never known. Just like Ruth King lives independently at home. Who would have known if we didn't ask and get the intergenerational conversation going?